During the first shower after the deluge, Nanarsag to cool down tempers managed. Nibiru with gold to resupply was over-ambitious and rivalries paramount. Slowly the earth to teem with life returned, with the seeds of life by Enki preserved. What by itself survived was augmented on land and in the air and waters. Most precious of all, the Anunnaki discovered, were mankind's own remnants. As in bygone days, when the primitive workers were created, the Anunnaki, few and strained, for civilized workers, now clamored. By the time the first shower after the deluge was completed, the peaceful truce by an unexpected occurrence was shattered. Not between Marduk and Ninurta, not between the Enki and Enlil clans was the eruption. Between Marduk's own sons, by the Igigi abetted, was tranquility broken. When Marduk and Sarpanit and their sons and daughters on Lamu the deluge outwaited, the two sons, Asar and Setu, to the daughters of Shamgaz, the Igigi leader, a liking took. When to earth they all returned, the two brothers, the two sisters espoused. Asar, the one called Asta, chose. Setu, the one called Nebat, betrothed. Asar, with his father Marduk, in the dark-hued lands to abide, chose. Setu, near the landing place where the Igigi dwelt, with Shamgaz, his dwelling made. About the domains on earth was Shamgaz concerned. Where shall the Igigi the masters be? So did Shamgaz the other Igigi incite. Of that Nebat to Setu daily spoke. By staying with his father, Asar the successor alone shall be. The fertile lands he will inherit. So did Shamgaz and his daughter Nebat to Setu day after day say. How the succession in the hands of Setu alone to retain, father and daughter schemed. On an auspicious day they made a banquet. Igigi and Anunnaki to it they invited. Asar, unsuspecting, to celebrate with his brother also came. Nebat, his spouse's sister, prepared the tables, footstools she also set. She beautified herself. With lyre in hand, a song to the mighty Asar she sang. Setu before him choice roast meat cut, with salted knife, for him fatlings he served. Shamgaz, in a large goblet, new wine to Asar offered. An admixture for him he made. A large vessel, mighty to look upon, with elixired wine he gave him. In good humor was Asar. Merrily he arose and sang. With cymbals in his hand he chanted. Then, by the admixtured wine, he was overcome. To the ground he fell down. Let us for a sound sleep take him, the host to the others at the banquet said. They Asar to another chamber carried. In a coffin they laid him. The coffin with tight seals they closed. Into the sea they threw it. When word of what happened Asta reached, to Marduk her husband father she raised a wailing. Asar to his death in the sea depths was brutally thrown. Quickly must the coffin be found. They searched the sea for Asar's coffin. By the shores of the dark-hued land it was found. Inside, the stiff body of Asar lay. From its nostrils the breath of life departed. Marduk his clothes rent. On his forehead he put ashes. My son, Sarpanit cried and wept. Great were her grief and mourning. Enki was distraught and wept. The curse of Cain is repeated. To his son in agony he said. Asta to high heavens a wailing raised. To Marduk for revenge and heir an appeal she made. Setu his death must meet. By your own seed a successor let me conceive. Let by your name his name remembered be, the lineage surviving. This, alas, cannot be done, Enki to Marduk and Asta said. The brother who killed, the brother's brother must be the keeper. For this, Setu must be spared. By his seed, an heir to Asar you must conceive. By these twists of fate, Asta was baffled, distraught, the rules to defy, she was determined. Before the body of Asar was wrapped, and in the shroud, in a shrine preserved, from his phallus, Asta, the seed of Asar, extracted. With it, Asta herself made conceive, an heir and avenger to Asar to be born. To Enki and his sons, to Marduk and his brothers, Satu, word delivered. The sole heir and Marduk's successor am I. Of the land of the two Narrows, I will be the master. Before the Anunnaki's council, Asta the claim refuted. With Asar's heir, I am with child. Among the river's bulrushes, with the child she hid. The wrath of Setu she was avoiding. Horon, she called the boy. To be his father's avenger, she raised him. Setu by this was disconcerted. Shamgaz from ambitions did not retreat. From earth year to earth year, let the Ajiji and their offspring from the landing place spread. Unto the borders of Til Moon, Ninharsag's sacred region, closer they moved. To overrun the place of the celestial chariots, the Ajiji and their earthlings threatened. In the dark-hued lands, the child Horon, by Earth's quick life cycles, to a hero grew. By his great-uncle Gibel was Horon adopted. By him was he trained and instructed. For him Gibel winged sandals for soaring fashioned. To fly like a falcon he was able. For him Gibel a divine harpoon made. Its arrows bolts of missiles were. In the highlands of the south did him Gibel the arts of metals and smithing teach. The secret of a metal called iron, Gibel to Horon revealed. From it weapons Horon made, from loyal earthlings an army he raised. To challenge Setu and the Ajiji northward, across land and river they marched. When Horon and his earthlings' army the border of Til Moon, the land of the missiles, reached, Setu to Horon words of challenge sent. Between us two alone is the conflict. Let us one-on-one in contest meet. In the skies above Til Moon, Setu in his whirlwind for combat, Horon awaited. When Horon toward him like a falcon skyward soared, a poisoned dart at him Setu shot. Like a scorpion's sting, it Horon felled. When Asta this saw, a cry to heaven she sent forth. For Ningish Zeta she cried out. From his celestial boat, Ningish Zeta came down. To save the hero, for his mother he came. With magic powers, Ningish Zeta the poison to benevolent blood converted. By morning was Horon healed. From the dead he was returned. Then, with a fiery pillar, like a heavenly fish with fins and a fiery tail, Ningish Zeta to Horon provided. Its eyes from blue to red to blue, their colors changed. Toward the triumphant Setu, Horon in the fiery pillar soared. Far and wide each other they chased. Fierce and deadly was the battle. At first, Horon's fiery pillar was hit. Then, with his harpoon, Horon Setu smote. To the ground, Setu crashing down came. By Horon, in tethers he was bound. When before the council Horon with his captive uncle came, they saw that he was blinded, his testicles squashed, like a discarded jar he stood. Let Setu, blind and airless, live. So did Asta to the council say. To the end of his days, immortal among the Ajiji, the council his fate determined. Triumphant was Horon declared, the throne of his father to inherit. On a metal tablet was the council's decision inscribed. In the hall of records they placed it. In his abode, Marduk with the decision was pleased. By what happened he was sorrowed. Though Horon, a son of Asar, his son was, from Shamgaz, the Igigi he was descended, a domain one as among the Anunnaki allocated to him was not given. Having lost both sons, in each other Marduk and Sarpanit solace sought. In time to them another son was born, Nabu, prophecy bearer, they named him. Now this is the account of why in the far away a new chariot's place was built, and the love of Dumuzi and Inanna that Marduk by Dumuzi's death disrupted.